In a great hall with pillars hewn out of the living stone sat the Elven king, Thranduil, on a chair of carven wood. The denizens of northern Mirkwood are the followers of the Thranduil, the Elven king. Also known as wood elves, they are a reclusive folk considered by many to be less wise or ambitious than elves of nobler lineage like the Elves of Linden or the High Elves of Rivendell. They seem content to rejoice in leading hunts and holding feasts, even under the threat of what lurks in the darkness that is Mirkwood. In truth, it is this love for Middle-earth and their hope of reclaiming the entire forest from the shadow of Dol Guldur that has made them staunch fighters, dedicated to resisting the encroaching darkness, either alone or side by side with trusted allies. The Elves of Mirkwood are a fair but hardy folk, even though their power is slowly waning as the ages go by. They are immortal warriors, as they share the fate of all Firstborn, and are devoted to the preservation of their hidden realm. Wood elves rarely become adventurers before they reach at least a few centuries of age. Leaving the woodland realm too early is generally frowned upon, as wishing to go on adventures is seen as forsaking their duty as keepers of the forest. Amartial folk, Sylvan elves are rarely found without a bow or a spear at the ready. Folk of the Dusk is a cultural blessing available to the Elves of Mirkwood. While fond of the sun, the Elves of Mirkwood find themselves at greater ease under the moonlight or starlight, or among the shadows of the forest. Their senses are keen, their burdens lighter, and their movements exceedingly sure and graceful. A player who is playing an Elf of Mirkwood, when they find themselves in a forest or at night, they can spend 1 point of hope to achieve a magic success on a skill roll. The Elves of Mirkwood consider themselves under siege at all times and dedicate much of their wealth to the defense. Therefore, an Elf of Mirkwood's standard of living starting in a campaign is frugal. Like all the Firstborn of Arda, Elves of Mirkwood are no different. They are strong of body and of mind, but their long years have dampened their hearts and decreased their hope. A player playing an Elf of Mirkwood will find their player hero strong and a capable combatant, and can withstand many of the sorcerous ways of the enemy, but of course must be careful in their use of hope. Elves of Mirkwood, when in a company, can make for great lookouts and scouts, and when needed, become great guides as well. And owing to their many years spent in the darkness of Mirkwood and preferring the light of the moon, Elves of Mirkwood are very hard to be spotted by adversaries. Cunning, fair, fierce, keen-eyed, merry, proud, secretive, and swift are all words to describe an Elf of Mirkwood from those that have had the chance to have met them. Sylvan elves used to speak an original woodland tongue, but are gradually embracing the use of Sindarin. Their names are usually in that language as well. Amraz, Degahir, Galdor, Sargon, Aranel, Eleanor, Idril, Ninel. The ancient tribes from which many wood elves descend never went over the sea to grow fairer or more learned, and devoted their arts to devising cunning ways of deceiving the enemy and its servants. This is probably why they are deemed to be more dangerous and less wise than compared to their other elven kin. Against the unseen is a cultural virtue available for the Elf of Mirkwood. Elves can perceive creatures that dwell in the wraith world, be the spirits or ghosts, even when they are normally invisible to the eyes of the living, and appear only as a chilling whisper of voices. You have learned to strengthen your heart against such of these terrors. All shadow tests due to dread are favored, and you additionally gain 1d on all those rolls forced upon you by an evil spirit or a ghost, including the creatures possessed by one. Deadly archery. Elves possess a natural talent for hitting the mark when using their bows. You have honed this talent almost to perfection, and your arrows find their targets with uncanny precision. When using a bow, but not a great bow, and fighting in rearward stance, you may attempt the prepare shot combat task as a secondary action. Elf Lights. You can make a torch or a lamp burn with a magical flame capable of enchanting mortals and humanoid creatures. Spend 1 point of hope to light a torch or a lamp. The lore master must choose a group of creatures among those observing the light whose total might score does not exceed your wisdom rating. The selected creatures must draw near to the flame by any means possible. You can control the light at will, even from a distance, either to extinguish the flame quickly or quietly, or to surprise those who have been attracted by your magic by causing the light to flare suddenly. If attacked, enemies standing by the light are surprised and won't be able to make opening volleys nor take actions in the first close quarters combat. Additionally, they are temporarily confused and fight as if wary for the first 2 rounds of combat. Elvish Dreams. The spirits of the elves are so strong that their bodies recover swiftly from the many ills and injuries. As your wisdom has grown, you have felt less and less the need to lie down to get better. Instead, you can recover your exertions while awake, finding repros in the secret ways of your folk. A player hero that has this as one of their cultural virtues, you don't need to sleep as long as you can engage in simple repetitive activities. When you take a short rest, you are considered to have had a prolonged rest instead. Gleam of Wrath. Your folk have seen many defeats and many fruitless victories in the wars against the Shadow. The deadly rage that your kindred harbor for the enemy infuses your weapons with a gleam of chill flame. On a successful attack roll, your adversary additionally loses 1 point of hate or resolve, plus 1 point for each success icon. Shots in the Dark. For you, the dusk of night and the dark canopy of the forest are time and place for merriment and for feasting. But this is a time for war, and you are learnt to exploit darkness to your advantage. When a player hero who has this cultural virtue finds himself in the forest or at the dark of night, they are inspired on all your combat rolls. This is the brief overview of the heroic culture Elves of Mirkwood found in the Peoples of Wilderland supplement for the One Ring Roleplaying Game. Next up, we'll take a look at the last heroic culture found in the supplement, the Woodmen of the Wilderland. If you have liked this video, and the others that I've created, please hit that like button, comment, share to your fellow players and lore masters, and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit that bell icon to be informed of when a new video drops to the channel. I'm Ryan of the North. Thank you for watching.